And there you are. Welcome, guys. And we are back for some. We're back on the on the Inspiration Channel, and we're going to be talking a little bit about revealing tech. We're going to be talking revealing tech, and it's going on, and it's going on right under our noses. It is going on right under our noses, and a lot of people are picking up on it, but most people are not. And it's out in the open, and there's lots of people in the administration that are talking about it, including President Trump himself. Um, Took me a little time, but I had to click the link. Hey, Steven, good to see you here. Mountains, good to see you. Let's see who's in here, guys. Mountains of Elysium, good to see you, my friend. What's up, Mountains of Elysium? Gap After Dark, good to see Gap, my friend Gap in here. And Mombi, good to see Mombi in here. She is killing it on her channel. Um, and the Angular boys are in here, and all those lurkers who are hanging out in the chat. And welcome everybody, and welcome to all our friends over there on the Orphanation team. And all right, let's kick things off. So it was a big day, and let me just put for context. Let me just put this in the background. Going off.
Hold the Greenland territory.
And let me just this is the whole Greenland stuff that's been going on. Let me just put this on the background just to give a little context of where we are. And the funny thing is that the revealing, hold on, the revealing, wake up, Peach, you're slow. There you go. All right. Well, okay. So the revealing, and this is the White House stream for the Davos speech today, and the revealing is going on out in the open. It's going on, and the person who's doing the most revealing is the president himself. And it's interesting because he's not holding back anymore. And the amount of holding back that politicians used to do is not happening with this administration. And you know, there's people like him, don't like him, for different reasons. But he is transparent. He is absolutely transparent. And when I say he's not holding back with the use of certain technologies and the putting these technologies out there in the open eye. Excuse me. We're going to take a look at several reasons. We're going to take a look at several instances of this going on, right? And I'm just putting this in the background for a sec. We're going to talk about several things here. We're going to talk about hinting at those futuristic battleships. We're going to talk about the what was used in Venezuela to oust Maduro. We're going to talk about what's next. What's next, basically, and forgive me for going to our. Hey, LDG, good to see LDG in here. Trump is playing one sick game of Risk. he's playing Risk indeed, isn't he? Well, let me just go really quick here to the thumbnail, and we're going to talk a little bit about these modern battleships, right? These futuristic battleships, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's next. And what's next, as far as revealing stuff, what's next is probably what's down in the bottom right hand corner. And the bottom right hand corner is that reverse engineered stuff, that off-world tech, that whatever intra-Earth tech, whatever you want to call it. extraterrestrial, intraterrestrial, whatever you want to call it. And give me one sec, guys. Give me 1 second. One sec. Let me just share this out one more place. And guys, if you, well, this is more on the new channel, so please feel free to share this out. All right. So oh yes, my skeptic bro told me yesterday, you haven't heard what Trump said, it would have interested you. And then he quoted those mysterious words, and I was like, oh yes, interesting. Yeah, those mysterious words were you won't believe what we got, right? Something like that. Or he's always hinting at what he sees. He's being apparently hyperbolic or apparently exaggerating in public, but he's not exaggerating. And this is what we're going to take a look at. All right. First up, the battleships. Here we see an AI rendition of a future battleship. One of the reasons that battleships are not around anymore, according to some of our Navy friends, is that the battleships had trouble protecting themselves. And so that says a lot. And if they want to build a new class of battleships, it probably has a lot it probably says that they have the technology to defend themselves. That, now there exists the technology for battleships to properly defend themselves, because they were very susceptible to submarines and torpedoes and et cetera, and the planes and whatever, all kinds of attack. And it's possible that the modern futuristic battleship has the tech to protect themselves. I'm expecting the announcement that the Trump mark is to have 34 Colonial Vipers, under 4 ICBMs, a lower section of a Cylon battleship. Oh, spoken like a true nerd. The Mountains of Elysium. It'd plead the fifth when it comes to the president. Says Mommy. My first here, and I'm glad to be with you guys. Hey, well, it's wonderful to have you here, Steve Dill. I've seen you before, I think. Lovely Sherry. Good to see Sherry. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, we are happy Stephen is here. And lots of people are here, actually. So that was a funny comment, Mountains. All right. So basically, if hey, Lee is here, Brother Lee is here. Good to see Brother Lee. Good to see Brother Lee. All right. There we go. So let's take a look at Trump announces the Golden Fleet. And one of the things he says in this speech, and we're going to take a look at the clip from the New York Times, New York Post, excuse me, from the New York Post. And oops, a little rusty page. There we go. Here we go. All right, let's take a look at the clip from the New York Post. The title in the clip from the New York Post: Trump announces Golden Fleet 100 times more powerful than any battleship ever built. And this is what he said This is what he said at this press conference, and this is what he has been saying 100 times. And he always says the same thing: 100 times more powerful. And he continuously says stuff like, "You wouldn't believe, oh, you wouldn't believe what we got," stuff like that. And he's always alluding to the fact that the U.S. is far, far ahead of everybody else. So, at least of the majority of the planet. So, let's take a listen to this New York Post clip of the Trump speech.
Honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of two brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships. You know, you used to build the Iowa, the Missouri, the Wisconsin, the Alabama, many others. We had big battleships. These are bigger, but they will have 100 times the, they'll be 100 times the force, the power. And
now listen, I guarantee you that 90% of the people listening to this, maybe more, 95% of the people listening to this, are attributing what the words he is saying to his I don't want to say Hollywood, but his TV show presenter personality, and they're attributing to his the way he expresses himself. But he is being literal, and this is where people are not realizing that he's being literal. People are not realizing that the revealing is going on right before their eyes. And what do you think, LDG? LDG is a big fan here. What do you think, LDG, about this? Let's continue to listen here.
as we had big battleships. These are bigger, but they will have 100 times the, they'll be 100 times the force, the power. And there's never been anything like these ships. These have been under design consideration for a long time. And it started with me in my first term, because I said, why aren't we doing battleships like we used to? And these are the best in the world. They'll be the fastest, the biggest, and by far 100 times more powerful than any battleship ever built. So
now the reason, and when he goes ahead and says it again and again, bear in mind, guys, that have a good night, Mumby. Bear in mind, guys, that when we're talking about the technology here, the revelation of technology, we are very likely looking at what used to be, or what was derived from, probably some of it was derived from reverse engineered technology from off-world stuff. And hey, John Beagle Dad, hey, Porthos. But this technology that we're going to be, like, that technology that we're going to be taking a look at today is, even though it was probably reversed at some point, it was probably reversed 50 years ago, right? 40, 50, 60 years ago. This is like this compared for what they got under the secret projects, like secret projects tech. This is probably like old stuff. Most of what we're going to talk about is probably old stuff. Because it's been out in the public, kinda. It just hasn't been. They just haven't been shown to use it. Gap says, "I wonder if these battleships are good to have shields, where you could say shields arm photon torpedoes." Listen, if battleships exist, according to some of our Navy friends, if battleships are going to exist again in the future, they have ways to protect themselves. What does that mean? Some kind of shield, like I don't know if it. I mean, are we talking like Star Trek shields up shields, or are we talking some, mini Golden Dome, or what are we talking about? But they have some way to protect themselves. Battleship is also the title of a very cool sci-fi movie. Yes, where they where they're they're fighting with aliens, right? Hey, Captain Fandom Nerd, good to see Captain of all the fandoms. Good to see the Captain of all the fandoms. Good to see you, my friend. Awesome to see you. Awesome to see you. So here, let's continue.
Look at the Iowa, the Missouri, Wisconsin, Alabama, and others, but they were similar in size. Some a little bit bigger than the others, but if you take the biggest one, it's 100 times more powerful. They're longer by a little bit, but they're bigger. They're bigger ships, but they hold much more. To use the word lethality. Battleships are the largest, sturdiest, and most heavily armed vessel built specifically for naval combat. While America has built many new warships over the years.
So we hear him say it again and again and again 100 times. He said it like 4 times now. The president has said it 4 times now, and we hear him say it again and again and again. Bear in mind that he probably is not going to come out and say, "Yeah, this is like, I mean, he's kind of saying it like this is, this because he says that we got stuff that you guys wouldn't believe we got, and we got so much stuff that you guys don't even know about. When he's talking to the public, or he's talking to the public, but he wants third parties to hear, right? And so, this is highly classified stuff that has been slowly integrated into the public, arena, kinda, but it hasn't been applied yet. And we're seeing probably the first time that some of this tech is being applied in the public arena.
They've tended to be smaller, much smaller, and not conducive to where we are and where we're going, and peace to restraint. But including, we've been building aircraft carriers. We're going to be upping that also. We're going to be going to a superior aircraft. We have the Ford class. We're going to be upping that to a different class of aircraft carrier. And we haven't built a battleship since 1994. These cutting-edge vessels will be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships. It will be actually the most ever built other than our submarines. We have submarines which will have, in many ways, even more lethality. And we have...
Let me just stop 1 sec here. And I don't know if you can tell here, but there are lots of strain angles here, kind of like some of the stealth planes. So there's obviously some stealth aspects included into this new design. You can't see it here really well. You could probably see it better on the thumbnail, actually. 1 second. Take a quick look at the thumbnail again. Hey, Maria Tiantelli, good to see you. Maria Tiantelli, the star of the show. Now we can begin. And the chaplain, the true Navy guy, Starfleet chaplain. Good to see you. So we're talking battleships here, Starfleet chaplain. And I would like your opinion. I was saying, Starfleet chaplain, that according to some of our Navy friends, the fact that let me just put up the fact that we have that we're talking battleships probably means that the battleships can protect themselves, right? What does the Starfleet chaplain think about that? So yeah, we have a lot of there's inklings on a lot of these designs of radar stealth designs, right? All right, let's continue listening. It's not very long, but here we were about here.
For these cutting-edge vessels will be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships It will be actually the most ever built other than our submarines. We have submarines which will have, in many ways, even more lethality, and we have many of them under construction. Each one of these will be the largest battleship in the history of our country, the largest battleship in the history of the world ever built.
And let me just address Mountain's comment there, because he expressed it very well. They say military tech is 50 years ahead of public tech. So Don is probably only revealing military tech from 40 years ago. The real advanced stuff is still secret. Absolutely. That's what we're getting at. Yep. Thank you for expressing it so well, Mountains. And yeah, the stuff that and I would say that some stuff in there is that some stuff under the secret blanket is more than 50 years ahead, right? Thank you for expressing it so well, my friend.
And again, it's 100 times more powerful than the previous Iowa class, it's called. Those are the big ones that you'd see on a show. Victory at Sea. I don't know if anyone's seen Victory at Sea, but it was a classic. They'll help maintain American military supremacy, revive the American shipbuilding industry, and inspire fear in America's enemies all over the world. We want respect. We're going to have it. We already have it. We're more respected now than we ever were. A year and a half ago, they laughed at us. Now they respect us again at levels that they've never respected us. We envision that these two ships, we're talking about 10, but we're going to start with 2, and we're going to quickly morph into 10. And ultimately, we think it's going to be anywhere from 20 to 25.
Well, that's an interesting comment. And the Starfleet chaplain knows a lot more than I do and we do. There's no valid reason for any of this. Every single ship runs on beyond visual range. There is no need for this obvious distraction. Interesting. Thank you for that feedback. Agree. Programs, but tech. But Gordon Cooper said he was well aware of tech like the U-2 and knew that he witnessed as pilot. Knew what he witnessed as a pilot was not U.S. tech. Sure, there's absolutely people who've seen stuff that is not they don't agree with that they does not seem like Earth tech, right? Saw on another channel supposed imagery of a triangular shaped fighter plane similar to mini UFO. Yeah, I saw that video yesterday. Vetted was putting that out, and actually, let me show that because I know what Mountains is talking about. Let me show that little piece of video. Vetted was putting it out. They got it from somewhere else, I think. Hold on. Patrick from Vetted was putting it out. Where is it? Hold on. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah. So this is what Mountains is talking about. And this clip is over. So, hey, Thomas, good to see Thomas Battalion here. Good to see you, Tomas. Let's take a quick look at what he's talking about. And so this is from Twitter, from X, and this is Patrick from Vetted putting this out. Credit to Uncanny Expeditions.
After a couple of hours of not seeing much more than contrails in the distance, closer to 3 o'clock in the morning, I got another low flyover, but this one looked different. The aircraft that passed overhead this time appeared to be closer to an equilateral triangle shape with a flatter trailing edge.
So that's interesting. That's a good video. Obviously taken at night. That's a B-21 Raider.
Immediately, my mind goes back to a pair of photos captured in 2014, appearing to show an as yet unacknowledged triangle-shaped aircraft. One in Wichita, Kansas, taken by photographer Jeff Templin, and another in Amarillo, Texas, taken by photographer Steve Douglas. I'd also been made aware of more recent witness accounts of Dorito-shaped aircraft spotted in remote areas of Southern California.
I have to acknowledge, I have to take my hat off to the quote of the day, Dorito-shaped aircraft. I love that, Dorito-shaped aircraft. Can I get some salsa with that? Dorito-shaped aircraft. Yes, they are. Absolutely. And I'll be putting the links below afterwards.
Particularly Death Valley. Given the limited resolution, we can't definitively rule out a B-2 or other more conventional blended wing aircraft pitched at an odd angle to potentially result in the appearance of a flat trailing edge, as has been discussed in relation to the Amarillo, Texas sighting, with some asserting that those photos simply show B-2s. So are we looking at a classified test flight or a run-of-the-mill training sortie?
So let me just scroll up a little bit because I saw another video that is relevant here of the B-2. Follow along video. This is a beautiful video. And it's been retweeted and posted by Shahan. That's a beautiful follow along. They're not going very fast. I used to fly planes. They're not going very fast. Broken down for scrap. Wow. The Burrito Brothers, now the Dorito Brothers. Still believer in Die Glocke. Captured World War II, after World War II, and that tech is used. Yeah. Who knows what's going on? The Germans at that time, well, the Nazis were more advanced than most people like to admit. And well, that's a whole different story, right? That's a whole different story. That's a whole other story. Those crafts are fascinating. They look like the UFO and yet are human tech. I mean, wow. Yeah. Very cool. This is a flying wing. It's a flying wing. Very, very cool. All right. So let's keep keeping on. And I was going to show you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about. So we talked about. We showed a little bit of the. By the way, let me just stop sharing. I do want to just play a little bit of it again. I want you guys, you know what? I'm going to play it one more time. I want to count how many times he says 100 times more powerful. The reason, and JRC was talking about is this is it's for show. You know, JRC is saying that this might be for show. And it might be for show, but it's also I think it's also a how do I say I think it's preliminary to what's coming ahead, right? And I want us to count how many times does President Trump say 100 times more powerful? Let's count. We're going to count together.
My great honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of two brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships. You know, you used to build the Iowa, the Missouri, the Wisconsin,
Bear in mind, this is a 3-minute clip here. And see how many times he says 100 times more powerful.
the Alabama, many others. We had big battleships. These are bigger, but they will have 100 times they'll be 100 times the force, the power.
2 times.
And there's never been anything like these ships. These have been under design consideration for a long time. And it started with me in my first term, because I said, why aren't we doing battleships like we used to? And these are the best in the world. They'll be the fastest, the biggest, and by far 100 times more powerful than any battleship ever built. So if you look at the Iowa, the Missouri, Wisconsin, Alabama, and others, but they were similar in size, some a little bit bigger than the others. But if you take the biggest one, it's 100 times more powerful. They're longer by a little bit, but and they're bigger ships, but they hold much more, to use the word, lethality. Battleships are the largest, sturdiest, and most heavily armed vessel built specifically for naval combat. While America has built many new warships over the years, they've tended to be smaller, much smaller, and not conducive to where we are and where we're going, and peace through strength. But including, we've been building aircraft carriers. We're going to be upping that also. We're going to be going to a superior aircraft. We have the Ford class. We're going to be upping that to a different class of.
Okay, so far I counted 4 times. Actually, he did 3 times. He just repeated once really quickly after. So he said it 3 or 4 times. We're gonna finish listening to it. But if you had to reveal all this secret tech, if you had to reveal it to the public, you would have to slowly reveal it as an offshoot of conventional, like just an advancement of conventional tech, right? So the next battleship, right? Like, and what JRC is saying, like, well, maybe this is for show, and it's for show, and in the sense that it's for revealing. You'd have to slowly drip stuff out in like as the next, the next step up in something that's conventional, right? Something that's common as a naval vessel. Let's continue.
Aircraft carrier, and we haven't built a battleship since 1994. These cutting-edge vessels will be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships. It will be actually the most ever built, other than our submarines. We have submarines which will have, in many ways, even more lethality, and we have many of them under construction. Each one of these will be the largest battleship in the history of our country, the largest battleship in the history of the world ever built. And again, it's 100 times more powerful than the previous Iowa class, it's called. Those are the big ones that you'd see on a show. Victory at Sea. I don't know if anyone's seen Victory at Sea, but it was a classic. They'll help maintain American military supremacy, revive the American shipbuilding industry, and inspire fear in America's enemies all over the world. We want respect. We're going to have it. We already have it. We're more respected now than we ever were. A year and a half ago, they laughed at us. Now they respect us again at levels that they've never respected us. We envision that these 2 ships, we're talking about 10, but we're going to start with 2, and we're going to quickly morph into 10. And ultimately, we think it's going to be anywhere from 20 to 25 of these.
Wow. So listen, this is and thank you to the New York Post clip. This is President Trump's way of saying we're looking behind the veil. This is President Trump's way of saying we're going to start to talk about stuff that other administrations kept secret, right? New JFK is replacing the Nimitz, and the new Enterprise is replacing the Eisenhower. Really? Oh wow! Oh wow! Well, thank you for that news, my friend. Thank you, Starfleet Chaplain, for that inside scoop. I'm just a movie buff and writer, but this is so cool. There are military and aviator pilots. The chat you, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just did a little bit of flying. I just did a little bit of civilian flying is what I did. So, all right. So this is so basically this is President Trump's way of hinting at what's coming. Let's take a look at the other thing we're going to take a look at is as that stuff used in Venezuela. And there is a lot of think about how long microwaves have been around. Microwaves have been around from I want to say late 70s, definitely the early 80s. Hold on, let me ask Chatty here, ChatGPT. How long have microwave ovens been around? So microwave ovens, well, all right. Let's just say available to the public. Yeah, so available to the public in the mid to late 70s, apparently. So mid to late 70s. So microwaves have been around for 50 years. Microwave ovens, right, have been around. How long would it take to build a battleship? Maybe Starfleet Chaplain can tell us. I'm thinking about a battleship. I think it depends depending on the rush, but that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. It depends, depending on the rush to build a battleship. Depending on the rush. I mean, like, if you're looking at during World War II, they were cranking them out in a couple of years, right? All right, let's take a look at the Venezuela thing. And we're going to go to a clip from a channel called AI Telly. Not TN Telly, but AI Telly. And I will put the link here. All right, this is the link to AI Telly. I'm going to put it in here, and we're going to watch it together. Because these guys did a really good job. This is their channel, so please go give them a sub. They did a good job at putting this together, and a lot of channels, several channels, YouTube channels, are using this to talk about the subject. So. Okay. U.S. secret weapon used in Venezuela. AI Telly. Let's give this a whirl. Give this a listen. I chose this video because it had a really good explanation of pretty much everything that they did.
Did the U.S. military deploy a secret sonic weapon during the raid in Venezuela? According to witnesses on the ground, the operation began with an unexplained radar blackout, followed massive drone swarm and the sounds of helicopters. Despite being outnumbered 5-1, the small U.S. Special Forces team faced less resistance. Why? Reports indicate soldiers suffered from vertigo, vomiting, and internal bleeding. Military analysts believe this was a soft kill operation, likely utilizing a high-power microwave device. More detail all in the video ahead. Based on witness testimony, here's how the event likely occurred. Venezuelan soldiers were on standard guard duty when their radar systems suddenly shut down without warning. Immediately after the blackout, a massive drone swarm appeared over the facility, followed by 8 helicopters equipped with unidentified technology. A 20-man team of Delta and Special Forces operatives deployed from the helicopters. The encounter took a mysterious turn when the defending force of 100 soldiers reportedly froze, leaving...
So, and we've also heard that the 100 could be more than 100. But what has been said again and again is that the retrieval group, the Delta Force retrieval group, was very small. It was, that's the number they keep saying, about 20 people.
Them unable to compete with a smaller elite team. Witnesses noted that the Delta Force operatives fired with impossible precision, estimating a rate of fire near 300 rounds per minute per soldier. It is theorized that Black Hawk helicopters were used to deploy this capability, utilizing disc-shaped radar attachments to launch a directed beam at the opposing troops. They reported internal trauma.
Now, let's bear in mind that some of the stuff that these guys are talking about has been in the news a lot over the last few years, with like that stuff that they called Havana syndrome, right? How people said that they were at their embassies at their embassy in Havana, and that they somehow that these radar weapons were used on them. Yeah, it must have been horrible. It must have been horrible experience. I probably was not lethal to everybody. But well, let's continue. We don't really know the details, but let's continue listening.
They suffered immediate vestibular incapacitation, meaning a total loss of balance and paralysis. Some even reported bleeding from the nose and vomiting blood, symptoms consistent with internal hemorrhaging. While the Pentagon hasn't officially disclosed the specific hardware, military experts often call this a soft kill system. So how does it actually work? To understand the weapon, you first have to look at what it did. The most likely candidate for a weapon that creates that kind of internal pressure without external sound is a high-power microwave device. It relies on something called the Frey effect. The weapon, probably carried by a Chinook or a Black Hawk helicopter, fires a focused beam of pulsed microwave energy, not sound waves, that passes right through the skull. These beams are absorbed by the water in the brain tissue and the fluid in the inner ear. This energy causes a minuscule rapid heating of the tissue, less than 1 degree Celsius. But that tiny sudden expansion generates a pressure wave inside the skull. The consequence? The target hears a sound, clicks, buzzing, or a roar that originates inside their own head.
Even
entirely.
Even a low intensity exposure to this must be impressive. It was probably, I would assume that a higher dose was probably used here. Anyway.
If the frequency is tuned to the resonance of the inner ear, it violently disrupts the body's balance, causing immediate vertigo.
Later,
At higher
JRC.
power levels, that rapid tissue expansion can rupture capillaries, leading to the reported nosebleeds and internal trauma. There is another possibility, a weaponized infrasonic pulse emitter. Instead of a continuous beam, this device would fire high-intensity slugs of low-frequency air pressure below 20 hertz. These waves travel through the body to match the resonant frequency of internal organs like the stomach or lungs. High-intensity infrasound can actually cause cavitation, the formation of bubbles in bodily fluids. When those bubbles collapse, they create tiny shock waves that damage tissue. The target feels an intense vibration in their gut, leading to severe nausea and effectively paralyzing them with pain and sickness. Tactically, the reports suggest U.S. forces use this technology as the ultimate force multiplier. The result was that the hundreds of Venezuelan guards mentioned in the reports weren't fought in a traditional gun battle. They were incapacitated, sick, dizzy, and bleeding, long before U.S. troops made contact. This allowed a small team of approximately 20 operators to walk virtually unopposed through a much larger force. But that's not it.
Yeah, Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah, they would probably be largely unopposed. Yeah. Now they're going to talk about basically how they took out the country's defenses, and they had some kind of um, Soviet defense system. An elaborate Soviet defense air system apparently.
The U.S. military has another secret weapon. Analysts called it the Iron Dome of the Caribbean. They said the airspace over Venezuela was impenetrable, locked down by the Russian-made S-300 anti-system, a beast capable of swatting aircraft out of the sky from 150 miles away.
And excuse me, I said Soviet, but it's Russian, not Soviet. Or at least they would probably have a more modern version, not a Soviet version, but a Russian version.
But in the dark night, the myth of invincibility didn't just crack, it evaporated. The opening salvo didn't come from pilots, but from physics. The U.S. Gerald R. Ford, stationed off the coast, unleashed a barrage of electronic warfare so dense it didn't just jam the Venezuelan radar screens, it burned them white. The S-300 operators at Captain Manuel Rios Air Base were blind before they ever saw the missiles coming. The first kinetic strikes were surgical from a destroyer. 2 Tomahawk cruise missiles slammed into the S-300VM radar arrays. In an instant, the eyes of the Venezuelan defense network were turned into twisted, red-hot scrap metal. Precision-guided bombs walked down the flight line. One by one, the Su-30s and the aging X-16s parked beside them were engulfed in fireballs. 7 jets were erased before their pilots could even reach the ladders. It wasn't a dogfight, it was an execution. But the final blow was psychological. At 4:20, the roar of jet engines shook the windows of downtown Caracas. The target was Fortuna, the headquarters of the Ministry of Defense and the nerve center of the regime's military command. The strikes didn't level the city, they decapitated the leadership's ability to communicate. As smoke billowed from the ministry buildings, the message was clear to every commander on the ground: you are alone. You are alone and that no help is coming. But all of this is just a deception. The main target is none other than the president. We finally have the declassified timeline of how U.S. forces breached the heart of Caracas and extracted Nicolas Maduro.
Let me just say that a lot of people said that the Havana syndrome was hocus pocus, but or migraines or whatever. But yeah, it's very real, and this is like that tech. I mean, that tech apparently in the Havana syndrome cases, it was not used by the U.S. It was used by somebody else. But this is a great, it's on exhibit here. It's on exhibit here in public. A similar technology, right? Similar microwave technology.
Let's start with step 1, the setup. This didn't happen overnight. For months, the U.S. had been tightening a naval quarantine around Venezuela. The U.S. Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group and the U.S. Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group were parked off the coast. The pretext was clear. The U.S. designated the Venezuelan government a narco-terrorist state, specifically targeting the drugs lords. But while the Navy squeezed the coast, intelligence assets were tracking one man. They waited for a specific window, a moment where Maduro was stationary and vulnerable.
By the way, these guys really worked on this video, so hats off to AI Telly. They really worked on this video.
Step 2, the strike. It began at exactly 2 a.m. Venezuelan Standard Time. High above, several F-35 stealth fighters punch a hole through the enemy lines, destabilizing their anti-air defenses. Like these Russian S-300 missiles located all over the strategic high-value target. With the skies cleared, the path opens for Delta Force helicopters to fly straight towards the mission. Here comes the deception as the helicopters flew. The jets started firing with more strikes as it hit Fortuna, the main military base and command.
So like Venezuela thought that their government thought that they had pretty elaborate air defense, and they probably would if considering they're considering anybody else, right? Anybody else other than the U.S.
Center and La Carlota Air Base, destabilizing Venezuelan air support. Reports from the ground describe widespread explosions and a sudden communications blackout. The chaos wasn't the goal, it was the cover. But how did the raid happen? We have to look at step 3. Under the cover of darkness and chaos, the Tier 1 operators went to work. But what is the exact unit tasked with the mission? It is the Delta Force, one of the most elite secretive special forces units in the US military. Witnesses in Caracas reported low-flying aircraft skimming the rooftops, flying well below radar coverage. The team breached a secure compound believed to be a safe house within the massive Fort Tuna complex. Resistance from the Venezuelan Presidential Guard was swift but ultimately futile, as the helicopters lay cover fire. The operators moved with surgical speed, landing on multiple points. But how exactly the capture and extraction happened? For this, let's look at step 4. Specialized helicopters hovered over the objective to insert the assault team. While dozens of attack helicopters laid down suppression fire, the Delta Special Forces descended and started the search for the high-value targets. How did they find him? Simple. The CIA had planted spy inside Nicolas Maduro close circle. While back in the US, Delta Force built an exact replica of his safe house, rehearsing the raid until they could do it blindfolded. While operators breached the room so fast, his security could not even react to the situation as the sound of flash grenades disoriented the security guard. Using blowtorch, they caught him before he could even lock all the doors. Maduro's shock and awe froze him as Delta Force breached the compound. Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were physically secured. This wasn't a negotiation. They were detained and immediately moved to the extraction point. These aircraft are capable of performing urban extractions from buildings and refueling in midair. We make original 4K 3D animation with a small team of animators. So please support us by subscribing and dropping in a comment for more exclusive.
So AI Tele, guys, absolutely wonderful work on their very elaborate work on their videos here. And so I'm going to put them that channel one more time. Here is the link to that video, and you guys can go ahead and sub. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about really quick. If you go, so we talked about the battleships. We talked about, we kind of went over Venezuela, right? Stuff that was used there. And one thing we're going to just touch upon now is what's next? What's next? Well, what's next is the whole disclosure thing. And what I wanted to do here is I wanted to just show you how I'm just going to X, right? And we're just going to go to X, and we're going to go to X. And we are going to take a look at UF. We're just going to plug in. You guys can see this, right? Yeah. Okay. We're just going to X, and we're going to put in UFO sightings. I already did. I already hit enter. And so lots of stuff comes up. And what comes up in the feed, particular here, is the Dorito shaped. The Dorito shaped. There you go. Dorito shaped aircraft over the Nevada test range. What we see here is lots and lots and lots of videos. Sometimes people are seeing videos that are seeming to be AI, but there are so many videos out there now. This is one by UFO Hunter. Let's go follow UFO Hunter. Let's give him a like. And so there's lots of UAP videos out there. This is by Lord Hawkins. By the way, you're not supposed to point lasers at planes. It's actually illegal. Of course, it doesn't look like a plane. Look at that. You guys are seeing this, right? Okay. Cool Ranch Doritos. Oh, I love Cool Ranch Doritos. So John doesn't know anything about spacecraft. So I love the sound of that. We're seeing lots and lots of videos. The first video is from Daytona Beach. The other three are from Lebanon. Well,
What is this, guys?
that could be SpaceX rocket.
It's coming this way, bro.
John Beagle Dad. Test. Where is it now? Oh, it looks like next one is from Lebanon. It's not a video though, is it? No, it's a picture. Hold on. Oh, they're saying, oh, that's not the sun. Okay. That's a UAP. All right. So what I'm getting at here, there's lots and lots of quote unquote sightings, and there's on X, there's tons. Probably part of the Golden Dome, says John. Nothing scheduled. There's potty doorbell. Okay. So there's lots of no thunder, no storm. Yeah, there's lots of weird phenomena in the sky.
No będzie. Tworzy. Cicho, słyszysz? Kolejne. Tam.
This is from a channel called NASA Clip. And
No będzie. Tworzy. Cicho, słyszysz? Kolejne.
these guys
Tam.
they sound Russian, maybe. Queens, New York. Really? This is over Queens, New York? So we're seeing a lot of these kind of videos. Some of them are probably AI. But there's so many sighting videos. There's lots in Latin America, by the way. Where is this? UK, Bradford City. City Bradford. Interesting. First full moon of 2026. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Identify luminous objects found in east of Vegas. Yeah, it looks weird. That looks odd. Why this it keeps stopping for some reason? Hold on. Yeah, so there's definitely going to be there's not enough data, and some of these videos are going to be fake, right? But there's so many videos out there that I think some of them might be real. I remember the interview with a pilot who was a Tic Tac, who was a Tic Tac. He was a fighter pilot, and he said he was responsible for many reports gliding over a campsite, then switched on. Eyes afterburners. Yeah, that's a good point. Like sometimes UAPs are not necessarily flying saucers, right? Wow, this looks like a comet, right? I mean, a meteor. By the way, if you've ever seen a meteor in person, or that looks like that could be space debris maybe. Have you ever seen a meteor in person? I mean, it can be impactful. I mean, it's not a normal occurrence in your everyday today, so it can be quite impactful. This is a UFO hunter again. So there's a lot of these channels, and you know what makes sense too is that a lot of some of these are doorbell cams.
What could that possibly be?
Yeah.
Crazy in the sky.
Where is it? Well, this is not a doorbell cam. This is a people with their phone.
What could that possibly be?
Yeah. A circular chemtrail.
No, it
shot out in front.
It did shit. It did shot out.
It looks like there's like a dot in front of it up top.
Yeah, it's not.
I've never
good.
seen.
Crazy in the sky.
So yeah, there's a lot of these, and whoops, where did they go? Where were we? We were this one. We're going to look at this one.
Seriously, did it do too?
I cannot believe that. One time I didn't get a chance to get
You can see that's harder to see, but
I'll
there's
send you my video.
there's something there. Oh, this is interesting. This is a picture, right? Well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Whoops, where did it go? That's an interesting picture. Hip top Burnett. Yeah, it's impressive. When you see the meteor, it's impressive. So yeah, there's a lot of these, and if you go through and find your favorite Dorito shape, no, UAP. Here,
When things like this are happening,
this
it
is
seems
interesting.
everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those recordings because this mystery is one that needs to be solved.
By the way, I just want to point out here that I think it was it Vermont and New Jersey? We're going to talk about this at some point. Vermont and New Jersey have created their own UAP like task force or something like that. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Hey, Positive Candor. Good to see you, my friend. Awesome to see you. It was on Joe Rogan interview with the pilots. That was where they told the story of effing the campers. Okay. Next ship will be pizza shaped. You guys are hungry, huh? So we're gonna see. This looks AI, doesn't it? Brazil. Hey, Jimmy. Good to see Manhands in here. James Manhands from Seinfeld. Hello. Well, that's interesting. That's different. It's not pizza shaped. I almost say it's like it's almost. I would almost say it's like shrimp shaped. Well, we're gonna take a look at. Let's take a look at a few more. Hold on. Does this change much? That's a close up. That's interesting. It's different.
Now we've got two. We're
Well, like I say, the ABC News team that we saw just a little while ago, that's probably not AI, and that was very. This one here that we just saw, this is, I mean, this is impressive.
It seems everyone starts to, when things like this are happening, it seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking.
So let me just remind people that New Jersey was one of the hubs of all those drone sightings, right? About a year ago. All right, let's take a look at one more for kicks, and before we sign off, and
Están muy cerca, son ovnis
Están muy
seguros.
cerca, claro. Es como que a veces se ve más, es como que van de un lado para el otro, boludo.
Amigos, están muy cerca, son ovnis seguros.
3 examples of new pattern of similar sightings
Cuidado.
from Argentina.
Van a 2 por hora, cuidado, lo que se están filmando,
Qué
boludo.
doctor, la va rapidísimo, amigo.
So the first one's from Argentina, then Oregon, and then Nevada. They are similar. You guys are seeing this, right? Yeah.
Es como que a veces
So,
se ve más, es como que van de un lado
this is
para
the
el otro,
initial
boludo.
video from
Están
Argentina.
muy cerca, claro.
Ovni asegurado.
And then
Van a 2 por hora, cuidado, lo que se están filmando,
Qué doctor,
boludo.
la va
it
rapidísimo.
goes on to this video. Oops, wait. To this video. And then it goes on to this video, which we saw over the house before. Yeah, they are similar. And, it would be logical for some of these to be seen in several different places, right? Anyway, this weekend we watched 200 people 2 nights in a row, saw miracles combined with. So there's people who are doing UFO watching groups, by the way. Those CE5 groups and other. Yes, Thomas. Phoenix Lights here, yeah. That one night, yeah, in Phoenix, where Russell, what's his name? Kurt Russell. Didn't Kurt Russell call in the Phoenix Lights? That's true too, Miles, yeah. Yes, the TR3B, exactly, James. Well, guys, oh, you DM'd something to me? Hold on. Let's see. Before we sign off, let me see what Johnny shared with us. Give me one sec. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. We talked about this before. Yeah, let's watch this. Let's watch this on our way out. This is a good one. Let me share. Thank you, John. And Anna Paulina Luna has said a lot of stuff, and Richard and Tim Burchett has said a lot of stuff. These like they're kind of a dynamic duo for disclosure in the Congress, along with a few others. Let me just share this so you guys were share Peach. Oh, I did. I showed a few seconds. Yeah, there was one that looked like the Phoenix. Absolutely. All right, let's share what John sent us, and yeah, this is. I actually watched this again earlier today. What John sent us. This is a clip of Anna Paulina Luna on Newsmax. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right.
You're on the record talking about, quote, non-human life forms that could be interdimensional beings who are visiting us. Can you just explain more to people at home what that might mean?
Now, first of all, the interdimensional stuff, I think, was first said in public by Grush, and then subsequently has been elaborated on in private skiffs with the Congresswoman and other congressmen.
Yeah, so that's definitely a mouthful, but that is directly based on information that we've received from witnesses, also information that we have obtained and witnessed via our investigations. There's some stuff that I can't disclose of what I have immediately seen in some of these skiffs, but what I will tell you is this is not just some crazy conspiracy theory. Obviously, there's been massive reporting, not just in the United States, but around the world. And this is something that I think everyone kind of, has always had some curiosity about. We're just simply asking the questions.
Yeah, and you're on the record talking about, quote, non-human life forms that could be interdimensional beings who are visiting us. Can you just explain?
So again, there's the reality is probably stranger than fiction. Everything you see in I've joked around about this before. Maybe like 95% of everything you see out in science fiction is somehow true in some way or based on truth in some fashion. Wouldn't that be interesting? So let's listen to one more time before we sign off.
Are visiting us. Can you just explain more to people at home what that might mean?
Yeah, so that's definitely a mouthful, but that is directly based on information that we've received from witnesses, also information that we have obtained and witnessed via our investigations. There's some stuff that I can't disclose of what I have immediately seen in some of these skiffs, but what I will tell you is this is not just some crazy conspiracy theory. Obviously, there's been massive reporting, not just in the United States, but around the world. And this is something that I think everyone kind of, has always had some curiosity about. We're just simply asking the questions.
Yeah, and you're on the record.
All right, guys.
Well,
I want to thank everybody for being here. And I want to thank Newsmax for doing this little clip here. And thank you, John, for sharing it with us. I am the opinion that it ain't ET, but I previously brick civilization, human in origin. It could be so many things. It could be future people. It could be intra-Earth people. It could be extraterrestrial people. It could be interdimensional people, or all of the above. And you know what? I think it's probably all of the above. I've seen videos where it looks like a Stargate with the chevron, but it goes into another dimension. I have seen that. Yeah, that was really interesting. I have seen that, Gap. Guys, I want to thank everybody for being here and everyone for participating. And if you live in New Jersey, look at the skies. So Spielberg shot several scenes of Disclosure Day also in New Jersey. He did? I didn't know that. Oh, interesting. Oh, thank you, Stephen. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Maria. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, everybody. I want to thank Gap, Stephen, Mo. I was going to say Mo. Mountains of Elysium, Maria, John Beagle, Dad, and Porthos. Stephen Thomas, Lee, Brother Lee, everybody, James, Jimmy Manhands, from Seinfeld, everybody who has been in here, guys, everyone who's been here, many, many blessings. Lovely Sherry, JRC, Gap, everybody who has been in here, guys, as far back, Captain Fandom, everybody who has been in here, guys, and Dr. Dega, who's lurking somewhere. He's always lurking. I want to thank everyone, guys, aside from Mambi, everyone. All right, many blessings to you guys. We will be back soon with more inspirational stuff and more post-disclosure. Take care, guys.